Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Frank Mularcik, and in this video, we're going to be going over the dividend portfolio for the month of March 2022, just going over some changes that did happen, all the purchases and transactions we made, and of course going over all the dividends we did receive. So this is my spreadsheet for the portfolio, what we're looking at right now. So as we can see down here, the current value is around $2,300 with annual dividend income projected of $61.16, which is a dividend yield right now of 2.72%. The average 3-year dividend CAGR is around 7.3%. Definitely want to get that up some. And, over the past few months, I would say, we've seen some opportunities to buy some companies, and maybe some of those companies that we bought, they didn't have the highest dividend CAGRs that I'm looking for in my portfolio, but I wanted to take the opportunity that I saw when those companies were undervalued to add to those positions. So right now, I would say some companies are probably overweight, and so over time, as I increase positions in other companies that have higher dividend CAGRs, theoretically that number should go up. So we'll see how that goes. We did actually have a dividend cut, but that was sort of expected. AT&T right here, they declared their new dividend of approximately $1.11 per year, which is around a 46% cut. So that's definitely unfortunate, but we will be getting some cash and shares. I'm not sure if I'll get any full shares. It depends how Fidelity works. Normally they just give you cash if you don't have enough shares for a full share, and I probably won't have enough shares for a full share. So I'll just get some extra cash there, which is sort of like a bonus dividend in that case. But that's about it. We can go and look at, the allocation by sector before we make this update. And right now, healthcare is around 20%. Definitely want to be buying into some other companies to increase their allocation compared to healthcare. So right now we're going to go over to Fidelity in my dividend portfolio, and these are all the transactions from March 1st to the 31st. So we're going to download these transactions into a CSV file here. And then once that is done, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the spreadsheet and just run this script here, which is going to parse through that CSV file and put the appropriate transactions in my spreadsheet here in the appropriate spots. And hopefully, eventually I'll get this script to be a Google Apps script so that everyone can use that for themselves, because right now it's a Python script, so it's running locally on my computer. But if it's sort of like a Google Apps script, then anyone could potentially use it, and I could share it on GitHub like I've done with some of my other scripts. So we'll give it a few minutes, and once it's done running, we'll come check back in. All right, so the script has just finished running, and we can look through the summary here. So our deposits, we deposited $60 like we do every month. For our buys, we bought some Procter & Gamble, about $10 of Procter & Gamble, 1 share of Amcor, about $10 of Microsoft, $15 of JP Morgan, and about $35 of Air Products and Chemicals. So in total, we bought about $80 worth of stock this month. And then we actually did make one sell, and that was ExxonMobil. We basically sold out of our position, and I talked about this in a previous video. Basically, most of my shares, I exited most of the position already, but I did have some shares that were still in the short-term capital gains area. So I was basically waiting until those became long-term capital gains, and that happened in the month of March. So we took advantage of that opportunity and sold our shares for about $7.30. So we're completely out of ExxonMobil now. And then for the dividends, we received dividends from all these companies here: Travelers, Lockheed Martin, Amcor, Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Johnson & Johnson, Southern Company, Pfizer, and Aflac. So for the month, we received a total of $4.94 in dividends. So we can go in our spreadsheet and see all that data here. So starting from right about here, definitely made a lot less buys this month than in February, but we still made a decent amount. So these are all the buys, and then obviously the cash deposit, and then this sell is listed here. And we can kind of scroll over and look at this. So this basically shows us that in total, we had capital gains from ExxonMobil of about $40, $39.77 over the course of these three sells. So I've sold about 1.24 shares in October, at the end of October, and then I sold the remaining 0.09 shares just at the end of March. So total capital gains there about $40, so that's not bad at all. Obviously, I'm not in these stocks for capital gains necessarily, but it is a nice little bonus there for sure. And then we can look at the dividend payments. Obviously, we got all these dividend payments added in here, which we just talked about. And then looking at our charts, so monthly dividends, we can see here that this $4.94 is actually the same amount we received in December. So hopefully that should go up in June, because we bought some Microsoft this month, and I don't think we bought anything else that pays out this month. I guess we did sell ExxonMobil, so that will go down, but over time, these companies will also increase their dividends, which will help, and I'm sure at some point I will buy more of all these companies, which will also increase the amount we're receiving in dividends from them. And that actually wraps up quarter one of 2022. So in quarter one, we received $12.70 in dividends, which is awesome. And then on the year, nothing great to see yet, because it's just the start of the quarter. And then if we go here to this changes over time and run this script, we can see here that the dividend CAGR actually decreased a bit to about 7.4%. And then the dividend income did increase a little bit, but it was not as large of an increase as it would have been if we had, not had that dividend cut from AT&T. And then we can go back here, all the way back here to the summary page, and we can see the value of the portfolio is now around $2,371. And dividend income, like we said, around $63.1. And right now, obviously, ExxonMobil, we own 0 shares. So what we can actually do is just completely take that out of the spreadsheet. So let's just make sure there's nothing over here at the end in those rows, and then we can basically just completely delete this row. And now ExxonMobil is completely gone from the spreadsheet. So I talked about it a little bit before, why I was selling out, but basically I just didn't see ExxonMobil as a company that was doing enough, I guess, to make that transition away from fossil fuels, which there's definitely going to be a large demand for fossil fuels in the future, and for a long time, really, there's still going to be a lot of demand for it, but I would say, or I would estimate, it's not really a growing market per se, and it's just a matter of time, I think, before they kind of start to falter. And if I do lose out on some gains from their stock, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I did have some pretty awesome capital gains, and it had a pretty great average price, so that's definitely not something I'm upset about at all selling out. I locked in some capital gains, and I got some profits, like I said, and that's extra cash that I can invest back into something that I think has a brighter potential in the future and is more of in a growing market. So let me know how your guys' portfolios did in the month of March in 2022. I would love to hear about it. And the one other thing I forgot to show was this value over time tab, where I've been sort of logging all the data every single day. And I actually made a video a few weeks ago about how you guys can do this yourselves and add it to your spreadsheet with a simple script that you can basically copy from me into your Google Apps scripts on your spreadsheet. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already, but it's really cool to see. It's only been going about a month and a half, but see that steady progress. And obviously we're gonna have bumps, since I only really update the actual buys and sells once a month. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's still going to give us a good representation over the long term of how the portfolio is doing. And as you can see, it's generally been going up, which is a good thing for sure. So again, let me know how your guys' portfolios did in the month of March. I would love to hear if you have any suggestions about my portfolio or what you guys think of it. And thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I will see you in the next one.